stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Renee, you're up.
Good evening, everybody. Now that the holidays are behind us, and since the last meeting, you read the letter that I wrote to Mayor Henner. I'm asking that you review that letter and vote on that. If not tonight, if you could vote on it and give me an answer whether I have to move to the village or if I can stay at 12266 Oswego Street. If you can let me know by close of business Friday, I greatly appreciate it. And if anybody has any questions or concerns before then, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, we can discuss that later, and, yep, we'll have an answer to you by the end of the week.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, by noon on Friday.
Thank you very much.
Yep, you're welcome.
You're all set?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Stay warm. Yes, I know.
Ryan, you're up. How you doing?
Good, yourself?
Good.
Well, obviously, as the agenda states, here in regards to the insurance on the newly purchased Chiefs vehicle,
Yes. So what would you like to know?
I guess I was asking for the board's approval on adding it to the insurance. Obviously, if the board doesn't know, the vehicle was purchased by the fire department through obviously donations, fundraisers, and obviously the money was earned through the fire department at zero expense to the taxpayer. The vehicle will be maintained, fueled, and all that stuff through the fire department. Once again, at zero expense to the taxpayer. The only thing that I'm asking for from the village board is the insurance and the registration for the vehicle. There is a policy that's written up in regards to it. Pretty much states that the vehicle will be driven by the fire chief. It can only be driven if the fire chief is available to respond to calls. It's not a leisurely drive. You want to take it and take your family to Old Fort. That's not what the vehicle was dedicated for or purchased for. It was only purchased for the fire chief to be able to respond to incidents. There was discussion in the department regarding it. There was things that were brought forward in regards to it, and the department felt it was in the best interest to provide the fire chief with a adequate and dedicated vehicle that is outfitted to fulfill his or her duties. So, like I said, the only thing I'm really asking for from the village board is just the insurance registration for the vehicle. Everything else will be, funded through the fire department, if you will. The outfitting of it, all that.
So one of the questions I just want to clarify is that, so when we did get wind of this originally, because obviously you guys went and bought it before the board had any previous knowledge of that, there was personal use involved in that. And by any means, our insurance company will not cover any personal use. Are you aware of that?
I guess I'm not sure what you mean by personal use.
If it's not going to a call, it's not covered. If you're not doing fire medic business, anything related to the fire department, it is covered. However, the insurance company came back and said any such use of personal use, which you go to the grocery store or whatever it may be, that in fact is not covered.
So I have a letter here from the insurance company saying that they will insure it.
Well,
from Eastern Shores. And I can provide you with the email, and I spelled it out in the email. As far as taking it home, it'll be driven at the disposal of the fire chief, as long as he or she can respond to calls. And I did receive an email back saying that they will cover that vehicle under our umbrella.
Well, like I said, that's what we're saying. It's kind of two different things you're explaining, and what I'm saying is the way it sounds. Because, like I said, if you're responding to a call, that's one thing, okay. And if you are available to respond to a call, that's one thing. But it going anywhere other than a fire medic duty is our understanding from the insurance company that it is not covered. If it's sitting, one of my questions that I have going back to the insurance company, for the example was, if it's sitting in front of your apartment and a car comes around the corner and lambastes that vehicle, what happens at that point? I don't know, because again, it's not going to a call, it's just sitting there. So I don't have an answer to that, quite honestly. And again, I wish we had a conversation prior to this, so before you guys went out and purchased that, we could have all these answers and have it. We're kind of backed into this reverse of how we try to do things, is trying to get all these answers, and then see, hey, can we do this? Are we going to do this? And here we are today, and that's what we're trying to figure out.
Who's your letter from? Because I got something from them too.
It's from Eastern Shores.
Yeah,
I firstly reached out to Jackie. She forwarded me to Amanda Briggs.
Because I spoke with Peggy. It took her a couple weeks to get back. She wrote, she went to VFIS.
I said I explained in my letter to the Eastern Shores, the vehicle be brought home by the fire chief, driven by the fire chief daily, as long as he or she is able to respond to incidents, and at the, pretty much at the disposal of the fire chief as long as they can respond. So obviously, if you're not responding, then, or if you're out of town or you're going to go to dinner in Syracuse or whatever, then obviously you wouldn't take the chief's vehicle. But
This response I got, that's why I was asking who
Yes.
you talked to.
I mean, I have the email here.
Yeah, I got mine.
Well, again, we have one too,
Yeah, we have
and
one too.
obviously they're clear as mud at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
So if you can get that email to Fran, we'll
I have it
decide
here.
that with the insurance company. But again, so one of the things that arises for me, Ryan, is obviously the fire department used their funds to purchase it for you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, for the fire chief.
Well,
I'm just the
you are
elected fire chief at
right
this
now.
time. If June comes and I'm not the fire chief, then it goes to the next
I
person.
understand that, but let's just clarify this, that you would be the very first one to ever get one in the history of the fire department.
Mhm.
Okay. And mind you haven't been a chief for a year yet, and this has already transpired. So with that being said, what makes this vehicle any different than as you have M6 at your disposal now? Because you could respond with M6 if you wanted to.
Well,
You do use that vehicle already. So I'm just trying to,
Correct.
what my concern, I guess, let me add a little bit more to it. So if the information comes back from the insurance company, I guess is more so what I'm leaning towards, is that if they're saying that there's no personal use to it, you basically have two of the same units that you could do it if you can't use it as your personal use. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you already had M6 that you could already use. That's at your disposal, as far as I'm concerned. But what makes this one any different is what I'm trying to understand.
So M6 is obviously parked at the firehouse all the time, right?
Mhm.
So we'll use an example on, say we have a house fire on Lake Avenue and I'm home. I'm not going to divert from going to the scene to the firehouse to pick up a vehicle that doesn't have any firefighting capabilities rather than just go to the scene. I would just rather go to the scene. I'm not going to drive to the firehouse and take a vehicle that doesn't have any water or anything on it. If I'm going to divert myself to the firehouse, then I would take a truck. With a chief's vehicle,
Which
it's
is
already
That's what my caveat was.
it's already outfitted.
Mhm.
The chief should be responding to the scene to direct incoming units and set, and establish a command setting. And then everybody else goes to the firehouse, gets the apparatus and brings it to the scene.
Yeah, but unfortunately, as you know, thankfully you are around in the village because you do grab equipment quite often.
We are very fortunate in the regards that we do have a lot of people that go to the firehouse. Obviously since I became chief, I've backed off a lot from going to the firehouse, getting the truck. But we are very fortunate in the fact that we do get a truck out the door quite often.
Yeah.
And our response time is less than 2.5 minutes from the time of dispatch to the time of interview.
Okay. So to clarify this, out of the fire department's own funds, they're going to fuel it and maintain it.
That's correct.
Okay.
And that has been approved through the fire department.
Okay. And I also understand the minutes were changed where it wasn't said that the mayor was all for this.
That is also correct. That is also correct.
Because when I got wind of that, that truly was not the case of the
That-
conversation.
That is correct, of which that was not stated in the meeting.
So, with that being said, I guess at this point, obviously the board, I'm sure, is going to talk about it some more. But I really got to get with the insurance company to make heads or tail of what you have versus what they told us.
Mhm.
And the same thing, we have it in an email portion as well.
Mhm.
And again, it's I don't know. Do you guys have any questions for Ryan with the vehicle?
What kind of vehicle is it?
It's a 2016 Ford Explorer.
Does that have water on
It has one fire extinguisher water can, 2.5 gallon water can, and it has one 10-pound fire extinguisher. But as far as a tank and a pump and all that stuff, no.
How are you guys gonna keep the fuel separate?
I'm sorry,
How are you gonna keep the fuel separate?
I have my own fire department card. That's linked right to the fire department's bank account.
Any questions, Daniel?
I'm all set.
Marshall, I know you go to the meeting.
I'm all set.
I'm good.
Okay. So,
So if the insurance company comes back and states that they'll insure it, I mean, what's the board's take on that?
that's why I'm sure they're gonna have some more discussion over it, to see what they wanna do.
Would you be taking that to work?
No. No,
So then it would be at fire hall
it would be parked at my house.
at your house.
Mm-hmm.
So you have yours and,
That's correct. That's correct. It would only be driven, as long as you can respond. So obviously, you know, like Chris will come and run down to Bob's quick and grab a loaf of milk and a gallon of bread, then obviously the vehicle would be taken at that point. But if I'm gonna drive to Syracuse or something like that, obviously if it's for official business through the fire department, then obviously,
oh, sure.
the vehicle would be taken, but,
You wouldn't want to take somebody out to dinner with all the sirens.
right. And there's a lot of amenities out there that have take-home vehicles. I'm sure just as well as you're aware. I mean, the highway superintendents, they all have take-home vehicles. There's 7 other departments in Wayne County that have take-home vehicles. 4 of which they give all their assistant chiefs vehicles, and their board, their council, I guess if you will, encourage them not to even have a personal vehicle. They drive it everywhere. I know the guy that was in his chief of the department. His son had a hockey game in Toronto, and he took the vehicle to Toronto for his son's hockey. You know, it is a stipend. It is a thank you back to the fire chief, obviously, right? You know, a prime example, I ran 226 calls last year. If you figure that out to 10 miles a call, you know, it's almost 2,300 miles. You know, so
that brings me to my last thing that I have a concern with, that we have to come to an understanding is that, so if you look during COVID time, the board wanted to get the fire department gas cards.
Mhm.
The state shut us down, would not allow us to do that. If you go back, I'm gonna say 30 years with the fire department, the chiefs then used to get so much money. It wasn't a lot of money. But my understanding is one of the problems that came about with that is that with that, say it was $50, for example, that showed them as a potentially paid individual from the municipality, which then in turn, if you were injured and workers' comp was involved, that's what your pay was based off of. So I gotta ask, does that apply to you as well as a stipend, as you mentioned? What does that change? And again, Ryan, I really wish we had this conversation before we had this just plopped into our lap, because we could have done so much more investigation of this and fact finding before. Because I know you want to drive this thing. I know the thing's sitting there. You guys already went and bought it, paid for it the day after your meeting. You know,
Yeah.
But again,
it wasn't the day after the meeting, but yeah.
I got called the Wednesday after our meeting and was brought to my attention from Ray.
That's correct. But
again,
I did bring the facts and figures to you.
You did.
I did talk on the phone, of which I also brought it to Frank.
But again, like I said, we're playing catch up to try to figure this whole thing out. And again, like I mentioned, you're the very first one in the history of the Wolcott Fire Department to have a chief's vehicle. And again, there was nothing during the budget as that was coming about to talk about it, because there's nothing saying down the road that couldn't have been a budget line item that was there. But here we are today.
But we're not asking for it to be a budget line.
What I'm saying, I'm not saying you are. What I'm saying is that it could have very well had been, had we some time to discuss it, you know, ahead of time. Like if we're going to buy a fire truck, this is a year in the making. You know, this was
It's a minimum.
This was a week that I had to digest this. From the time Ray told me to our next meeting, you know, I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm like, what's going on here? You know, and you guys already had it sitting in the fire hall. You know, that was pretty quick. So again, we're not trying to stalemate you on this at all. We're just trying to make sure we have our I's dotted and our T's crossed to make sure that the liability of the village is covered at this point.
And insurance is a budget item though too.
It is.
Well, I mean,
I wouldn't say that the insurance would greatly go up or anything like that, but again, there's twofold to this. Insurance is the one thing, and I don't know how they would classify that. If we pay 1 cent to that, where does that put you? Are you now a paid individual because that you're solely driving that vehicle and we're paying the insurance for it? I don't know. These are questions that I need to ask.
you've mentioned the insurance a few times. As of October 1st, $932 came out of the insurance, of which they budgeted for $9,800.
That's because we don't pay it till May.
Okay?
What's that, what you're seeing there is all the changes that have been done from the different trucks that have been in and out. We don't pay the insurance until May.
What trucks have been in and out since October?
Well, we got rid of one fire truck
and they wrote us a check back.
Correct, but that, yes. Correct.
So I guess
But then we get another bill for adding on.
Yeah, the only thing you added on was the bolt.
right.
But you took the old 3.2 off and put the new 3.2 on, which obviously the new truck costs more than the old truck.
So they send a refund, then they bill you. Then I have to pay that when it comes, but they don't send an invoice for the whole thing. Because you gotta remember, we're still doing renewal.
Yeah, that'll be done February 4th.
Right. So we usually pay it like in May.
We run June to June.
Right.
So
Right.
again, those are the two things that I need to get clarification on. And if the board, like I said, if they decide to say, hey, yeah, we'll do this with stipulation of this being okay, that's all well and good, but I can't speak for the board, but those are two things that I would really feel a lot more comfortable about, that I had some solid answers on before they approve that.
Where would you park this if it was approved? In the street?
No, at my house in the parking lot where I park my vehicle.
Or you have, I always see your vehicle in the street. Is there a parking lot there?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
I can reach out to Nikon this week as far as the stipend part.
Perfect.
It wouldn't be any different than the stipend I get now, right?
I'm not sure. That's what I'm saying. I just want some clarification on it to make sure that everything is covered.
Yeah, they told us before, if the village pays anything, it's considered, you guys are no longer volunteer. That's why we got cut down on the cards to tell you guys all, thank you. Anything that's paid from the village is considered stipend,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm paid now.
but not by us.
Trying to write me a check every 3 months.
That's just for your cell phone. That's something different.
That's still a stipend.
But it's something different. That's totally,
Yeah, like I said, the gift cards we wanted to get you guys during COVID, that was, we called and asked, can we do this for the fire department? No, we can't. Because that puts you into a employee type status. And again, the odd part about that, Ryan, is that you guys are already covered by insurance
Right.
that's paid for by the village.
Mhm.
But apparently that puts us into a different realm of gifting, or however they look at it. So it's just, like I said, it's it's just best that we get all of the information, all of our ducks in a row. And then if they say that, okay, you guys are covered on it, that's fine, then what do we do from this point forward? And again, obviously your email is different than the one that we have, because in the email it clearly says there's no personal use covered. It shows it from fire call, it says a volunteer's vehicle, our vehicles, but it says for personal use is not covered. And that's what we got back on. And I already knew, obviously, on that side of it. I mean, if you're driving your truck and you smack a deer coming back or wreck the thing,
Yeah.
Obviously, and that's to and from the call.
Right.
But
Yep.
in there, they also added in no personal use. So if we've got to get more clarification on it, obviously now, because like I said, it's clear as mud now. If you have one that they're saying that it is covered, and then our representative is telling us no. So that obviously we need to look at that.
You can just forward the email to me if it's easier.
So I know it's not the answer you want to have, but I just have to, on our end of it, to make sure that we're covered.
As far as registration, as long as it's considered municipal, I don't think there's any charge for registration.
Is a department letter in it too, also?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything. Like I said, one thing I'm asking for is just the the registration, the insurance, everything else is being taken care of by the fire department.
What are they doing out of their, like, oh, they can't do 2%, right?
No, it's just out of our regular general fund.
Gotcha. Okay, so, ultimately, it's still gonna be up to the board, but like I said, I do have to get this insurance thing straightened out. When did you talk to the insurance company?
I spoke to the insurance company Friday, January 10th at 12:43 p.m. And I spoke to Amanda Briggs.
Yep, I got that.
I first spoke with Jackie and she forwarded me to her.
Okay.
I had previously spoken to Jackie on the phone in regards to it. And she had mentioned some departments in Monroe County that they insure. They have, all of them have chief's vehicles. And she said, yeah, it's no problem at all. We do it all the time.
Are they their own districts? That might be why.
The insurance company is the insurance company, right?
No, but
I know there's one village-owned department in Wayne County that has a chief's vehicle, and they're insured through Eastern
are they their own
Insurance.
district or are they like?
No, they're owned by the village.
Which one is that?
Newark.
Okay. Well, that's what I gotta figure out anyways, Ryan. This is a whole new venture for us. And like I said, this is all new.
Mhm.
Anybody have any other questions for Ryan?
We'll figure it out. Back to you.
Anything else, Ryan?
No, I just have stuff for the meeting, at the end of the month, the department head meeting.
Oh, okay. We got the code enforcement monthly report, make a motion to accept that.
Make a motion to accept the code enforcement report for December 2024.
Second that.
Any further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Proposed welcome to the village welcome flyers. I like it very much. I sent Eva a note back. The only thing that I thought should have been added onto it was the text my gov information.
Yeah, I added that
Oh,
at
okay.
the bottom.
So that was the only thing that I seen that we should add to it.
Well, Mr. Lewis caught something on the back for the Strawberry Festival. It's actually North Park. I know. I always call it North, so I know. I do it too.
Well, if Donna's watching, she'll tell you.
Oh,
I
yeah.
Sorry, Donna.
But yes, this is
It looks
perfect. Yeah, it really does. This is,
No, it looks very good, thank you.
I like it.
Past due water sewer accounts. Yeah, so you got a percentage that's been contacted on this shut off list yet, or have you started making phone calls? Or
Yeah, I did, I wanna say 70 today.
Okay. It's a pretty big number.
you wanna see this and pass it around, check?
Absolutely.
Need a motion for the November 2024 Treasurer's Report and financials.
Make a motion to approve the November 2024 Treasurer's Report and financials.
Second.
Any further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
December 2024 Treasurer's Report and financials.
Make a motion to approve December 2024 Treasurer's Report and financials.
I second that.
Any further discussion, all in favor? Request for resume templates on the website.
So that was something we got from the email part of our website. And so y'all got a copy of and she's a career advisor and she would like to have these resources up on the website.
What kind of cost is involved in that?
I don't think it is, they just asked us to put it on there. I think you got a spot for community or something, right? So we can put something like that up? The state wants to know she's a resume resource person. She wants to know if we put information up on our website, but we have something like for community or something, right?
I think we take a look at it and see what their link is about, because, I think that's pretty much what we need to do, is just go visit theirs and see what it's all about. So we'll look at that the next go around.
Okay, I'm looking through.
We need a motion for the mileage increase reimbursement rates from 67 cents to 70 cents per.
Make a motion to approve the IRS mileage reimbursement rates to increase from 67 to 70 cents.
Second that.
Any further discussion, all in favor? Meeting minutes for December 10th, 2024.
Make a motion to approve December 10th, 2024 meeting minutes.
I have one correction, I think. It's got on here, Stellar roofing estimate was $88,820.
That's so high.
Yeah, it was like in the 20s.
What happened? I'm sorry.
The Stellar roofing estimate,
Yeah.
just like,
With the 22,000. So I need to amend it.
yeah, it says 88 on here.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. That's a lot. We had a whole new gazebo for that.
I know,
maybe.
right?
No, I doubt it.
Maybe.
My fingers are in the wrong place.
You wanna have it for the next time around, Fran, after you amend it, or no?
No, I have to, you can't change the minutes, I have to put an amendment in these
Okay.
minutes saying that we're correcting it. Who's second it with an amendment? Dave?
Sure.
You're all done. Yeesh.
Make a motion to approve abstract 008 in the amount of $147,037.06.
I second that.
Any further discussion, all in favor? Keep rolling.
Make a motion to approve 2025-1 budget modification, correction of 2024-30.
I second that.
Any further discussion, all in favor?
Make a motion to approve abstract 2025-2, or, sorry, 2025-2 update for sewer verbiage in the commercial industrial customers.
Second that.
Any further discussion, all in favor?
And I made a motion for the fire hall use request, January 25th, 2025.
Know about that, Ryan?
Do I have to let him know?
Any further discussion, all in favor? Oh, so I've got, we gotta go into executive for contractual. However, some are aware, some aren't, but the one sign outside of the village down by Cherry Grove campground was damaged. And we have 3 different colors, so I would like to get some feedback. I'll pass it along to you guys first. So basically it says, the new signs are welcome to the village of Wolcott. There's 3 tones of green for a backspace. The white is in reflective. On one end it'll have Venus and the other end it'll have an apple. But I've got 3 different tones of green, so take a look.
Bob, you're colorblind.
He won't tell me what color it really is.
Anything?
I always ask him what the real color is.
Oh.
I can
Just
see
looking in
green.
depth at
You
it.
can see green?
You can see green. Are you sure?
Blue. Well,
Green is go.
not sure, no.
I would go with the darker green.
Now, mind you, the signs are gonna be, one is 24 inches tall by 18 feet long, and the other one is 24 feet long by 24 inches tall.
Who's making that?
Pilot Graphics,
Letters white,
yes.
reflective.
You asking if you want the square one or the
Just the color,
rectangular?
just the color.
I like the one on the left.
It's kind of one I definitely wanted to raise not too much, so. So that's what we have anyways. Other than that, like I said, I got executive, so on to Misty.
There's a new business in town, Verdi's, the redemption center.
Yeah, done a nice job with it.
Yes, I went in there Saturday actually, and it was less than 5 minutes taking what? How much did I have? 318 cans, quite a few bags. And I was there less than 5 minutes, and he's clean. Also, I have a question. Fast Track took out those big
The balls?
yes, in front of Fast Track.
What are you going to do with them?
I was actually thinking the park.
You're getting rocks.
I know. I don't know. I didn't know if we could get those at like a discount and save money for the rock. Some of the rocks.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I know it's,
Good idea.
I think they're on Castor's land where they're at now.
Who's guess? I don't know who that is.
He's, anyways, that's where they're sitting.
Okay.
But I was,
My mind just goes a mile a minute. That's all.
oh, I know. I know. Yeah, but that kind of wouldn't go with your decor with your
I got thinking
rocks.
of that, but I would actually, because my idea, I would paint them and leave like the rocks natural, but paint those round ones. And actually, you can have a fun day down there with kids, and they can put handprints on them. Just make it fun. Sorry.
Have a grand opening.
Yeah, see? Great idea.
Well, if you'd like to venture, stop up there and see if they want to partner with them.
Where do I go to see them?
I would. Let me see if we can get you a contact number for them.
We should have some kind of contact for you there too.
Ask who the manager is, I don't know who it is now.
Anything else, Misty?
Yours are looking pretty good around town.
Yeah, they're all snow.
Well, that's true.
Snow covered.
Marshall,
I don't have anything at this time.
Daniel,
Nothing tonight.
Dave.
I just have a question, probably for Ryan. So there's a fire hydrant across the street from the garage. It's on the corner of Oswego and Auburn. That always had a garbage bag over it.
Yep.
Is that active or
Nope.
not active?
No, it's been bagged for quite a few years.
Yeah, that's an Ed question.
The bag's off of it.
It's gone. Yeah, no, there was an issue with that hydrant. That was a while ago.
Yeah, so if I recall, the issue was the way that it's tied into the main there, which it wasn't on a super high priority list. And the conversation obviously was that it could draft out of the pond at that point.
Yeah, and the next one up, that's a good hydrant.
Yes.
The one at the corner of Lake and
Yeah.
Oswego. And the one right across at the entrance of the park, that's on the 12-inch. That's a good hydrant too.
I think the reason was in order to change it, they'd have to shut down half the village.
Well, it'll drain that side of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was a problem I heard.
But maybe now, no, I'd have to look and see, because we were able to, when we did Mill Street, we put that shut-off valve on that end that we didn't have before. So you may be able to hold that back. I'd have to ask Ed if we can still do that and still feed the other section from the county side. Because when we pulled that main out of there, we were able to feed that side of the village with that main out. So, good question. We'll talk to Ed about it and see.
I just thought at very least would.
Right at the corner of
Put a bag on
Oswego
it.
and Auburn, in the used car lot.
Yeah.
And we lost the hydrant on Lake Avenue down by the brick house. When that caught on fire, I don't know if it was seized or what the deal was with that. We couldn't get it open that day.
They break the stem on it or no?
No, just we couldn't get it open. And then I called Ed and told him we bagged it that day, and I called Ed that day as well. He said he was going the next day and take a look at it. I didn't hear anything, but
Well, we did start to stock up. I shouldn't say start over the years. So we had, at that point, I think we had 3 different style hydrants. So we were making sure that we had them in stock versus years ago we didn't.
yeah.
So now we have them.
Are they slowly converting to, like, if they were to replace a hydrant, they go into the ones with the steamer connections on them? Or are they still sticking with the 2.5?
Well, the last, so it's more of that, the ones that have the, what is it, the guard on it or whatever? Guard valve, I think it is, that's on there.
Mhm.
So some of them didn't, and the other ones are, and then the other ones we have that'll screw straight down into it or something
Yep.
of that nature.
Yeah, the wet
So we had
ones.
2 different styles, I think actually 3, and they were moving over from the one. But like I said, at some point we didn't have a single one sitting here. I was like, we gotta have fire hydrants.
Yeah.
So,
The new 3.2, that's all equipped with 5-inch. Because obviously, the old 3.2, we just used to lay in with 2.5s. Now the new one, that's all 5-inch. We lay in with 5-inch now, which we can also do that on the double 2.5s. We just do the 2.5 to 5-inch storage, and we just lay in from there.
not a bad idea to we could talk to Ed about that if there were some strategic ones that we wanted to change over, with throughout the village where you could tie in with the 5-inch.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think they're all the steamers are 4.5 connections.
Yeah.
4.5 to 5-inch storage.
No reason why we shouldn't have a few of them that way.
Yeah. I think all the Main Street stay.
Well,
That's where you need it.
that's when we've done that scenario a few times and we were still pulling more water out of the pond.
Oh, Main Street?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's broken, I think. The dry hydrant.
So the plan was that this spring is that I think we're gonna take the plastic out because obviously, so this is cracked multiple times now and go with stainless or whatever down through there and try to push the intake out further because obviously, I mean, it's just, we know the first time they did it, they dropped the stone on it and broke
Crushed
it.
it,
We
yeah.
put the camera down there and found the crack in it.
Mhm.
And then when they possibly put it back this time, they got too close to the 90 that's on there and cracked it again apparently. Because it just, you can't get a draft off of it. And you know damn well that you should. The other thing that we were thinking about is pointing it more towards it inlet of the falls, so it's driving into it. Which that we hope that it would help clear that strainer that's on there too. Because the way it's set right now, it just goes straight off of where that pipe is.
Uh-huh.
But there's no fall out there to speak of. I mean, when we were doing the Mill Street project, they were out 26 feet or 27 feet, and the diver said it was still above water. So it's not a lot of depth there.
Right.
And you can't cut into the pond because the way that it was designed back in the day or whatever, it's just basically stone stacked up with concrete piled all around it. And that's the way they made that lip of that to sit there.
Yeah.
So, and the only reason we got a good look at that is because we had to put that diversion box in there when that makeshift dam blew out. So that's how we seen what was there. But that's the plan, is that we're going to go with hard pipe instead of this plastic. And hopefully that alleviates all of that.
Right.
Didn't Pete do a pretty good job of engineering all the other dry hydrants we have?
Pete put all the other
Yeah.
dry hydrants in that we have in our district, and I think
That
he did a
work,
couple
yeah.
in South Butler.
They
Yeah.
actually work too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete's been involved with this one too. That's why we were thinking of going with a hard line down through there instead, because it is a pretty steep pitch. But like I said, they put all that cut stone on there, and they were just setting it with a backhoe, and it's just,
Yeah.
it only takes
Crush
one
it,
tube
yeah.
and it breaks it.
Yeah, it's done, yeah.
So, and we did give them the matrix they had for it, how many square inches and how many holes per foot that it was supposed to have, and it has all the right holes in it. So, like I said, there's got to be another hole in the damn thing, something
Yeah.
there. So that's what we'll do. So, and then for the group people, Jack,
Good.
thanks again for the filming. Matt,
Also,
All set? Anything else, Ryan?
I'm good.
Okay, we go into the executive.
make a motion to go into executive session.
Nice seeing everyone.
Contractual at 7:39.
Second.